Good morning. I'm happy to welcome everyone here for the ribbon cutting for a major new flyover which will help traffic enormously here at LaGuardia Airport. This morning, after I make some opening remarks, we will hear from Congressman Joe Crowley, who really needs no introduction, but has been an extraordinary supporter of this effort and has been an extraordinary pillar of the Queens community and the Congress. Following Congressman Crowley, Patricia Ornst, who is Managing Director of New York State and Local Relations for Delta Airlines. Following Patricia Ornst, Jane Garvey, former Administrator of the FAA and a member of the board of LaGuardia Gateway Partners, will speak, following when we will hear from the Governor. Before I turn to my remarks, I'd like to acknowledge the presence of a number of people critical to this project. First, Jeffrey Linford, who is Vice Chair of the Port Authority Board of Commissioners, is here, as well as Gary LaBarbera, a Commissioner of the Port Authority Board and President of the Building and Construction Trades Council of Greater New York. In addition to Congressman Crowley, we have elected officials New York State Assemblyman Jeff Aubrey and New York City Councilman Francisco Moya, and I would like to pause and thank all three of them for their advice as we have tried to maintain not only good relations with the community surrounding the airport, but actually be fully engaged and responsive to their concerns. In terms of building LaGuardia, we are honored to have the President of the New York State Iron Workers District Council, Jim Mahoney, here, Keith Lascalzo, Business Manager of Labor's Local 1010, and Matthew Chartrand, Business Manager of Iron Workers Local 361. And obviously, without the enormously hard work of union laborers, what we see behind us could never be accomplished. From the LaGuardia Gateway Partners, we have Paul Ewens, CEO of Skanska USA Buildings and Chairman, Skanska Walsh JV. Stuart Steeves, the CEO of LaGuardia Gateway Partners. Andrew Campbell, Executive Director of the Council for Airport Opportunity. Saida Dunstan, Executive Director, Elm Corps Youth and Services Activities, and Yoselin Janeo Estrella, the Executive Director, Neighborhood Housing Services of Queens, and Tom Greck, the President and CEO of the Queens Chamber of Commerce, and I extend my thanks to all of them for being here with us today. Turning to the reason we're here, the flyover on which we're standing. Engineers call them grade-separated accesses. Lay people call them roadway bridges or elevated roadways. Our engineers have chosen an in-between and a more special name, a roadway flyover. This new flyover that we are opening today is located here at the Grand Central Parkway's Exit 7. Eastbound Exit 7 is the main exit that drivers take coming to the airport from Manhattan or the Brooklyn-Queens Expressway. This particular new flyover will at the beginning be the primary roadway or overpass for vehicles crossing to the east side of LaGuardia Airport, where the Delta gates are located. It will provide much more direct, much faster, much easier, and much quicker access for drivers going to those Delta gates. This new flyover is part of a much bigger picture, obviously. The $8 billion rebuild of LaGuardia that we are witnessing right now in front of us will be the first entirely new airport built in the United States in 25 years. As part of the master plan for the airport, the entire roadway network at LaGuardia has been totally redesigned and re-engineered. This flyover is just the first, though perhaps the most critical, of 26 new bridges that will come online over the next 3 years to improve airport traffic flow as the redevelopment of LaGuardia Airport continues. 15 existing bridges will be demolished as these new ones open. The old roadway network was so tangled that before work started on this new world-class integrated airport, LaGuardia Airport had 19 different traffic signals on airport trying to control the flow of vehicles around its hodgepodge of separate terminals. When the modernization is complete, there will be only 3 traffic signals, from 19 down to 3. That will be an enormous improvement. The new roadway network will have vastly improved wayfinding signage, vastly improved lighting, and vastly improved traffic flow. That is the benefit of master planning and thinking big, which really leads to the biggest point of all. Before Governor Cuomo laid out a plan for a total rebuild of a new airport, benefiting from the best master planning advice available, the history of Port Authority fixes to LaGuardia was the Band-Aid approach. Fix a little here, fix a little there, but never fix the airport. The hodgepodge of small fixes to the system resulted in an outmoded airport with many dilapidated terminal facilities and disconnected, dysfunctional airport traffic patterns. But now, thanks to the governor's leadership, we are getting it right. We are building an entire new airport with an entirely new roadway network that will produce a vastly improved experience for passengers. A special thanks goes today to Skanska Walsh, which built the flyover on which we're standing and will be constructing the other roadway bridge improvements. Work is also progressing on the $4 billion eastern half of the new integrated airport, which is what is right behind me and to my right, your left, thanks to LGP, which is composed of Vantage Airport Group, Skanska Walsh Construction, Meridian Financial Partners, and JLC Infrastructure. I also want to acknowledge Delta Airlines for its work on rebuilding the entire $4 billion eastern half of the new integrated airport, which will house their new terminal head house, gates, and operations. For this new flyover in particular, there will be 2 important changes for circulating traffic, with more than 20% of the airport's inbound vehicles coming from the west across this flyover going over to the east toward Delta. First, the exit 7 eastbound traffic that bound for Terminal C and D will now be entirely diverted and have ramps entirely devoted to their use. The eastbound traffic headed for the eastern half of the airport, Delta's gates, will now have this as an exclusive access point to the eastern half of the airport. Now, from our high perch here atop the flyover, you will see behind me many of the elements of the $8 billion rebuild of LaGuardia Airport. All the way to the right, with the advertising signs, a whole new LaGuardia Airport on them, and in addition to 2 advertising signs, is the new Terminal B parking garage, which is at the west end of the airport, has new space for 3,000 vehicles, and includes a dedicated level for Uber, Lyft, other car services, and greatly improving the access and experience for customers. The steel framing for the Terminal B head house, which is the main part of the new airport facilities on the western half of the airport directly behind me, topped out earlier this year and is scheduled to open in early 2020, 18 months from now. The gates in the first concourse, which you can't quite see from here, behind the head house and behind the new central heating and cooling facility, will open later this year. Delta's new 21st century head house serving the eastern half of the airport, or Terminal C, is beginning to rise with pile driving going on in front of Delta's current terminals, and you can actually see the entire steel framework for their first new concourse all the way at the eastern end of the airport. I'd now like to turn to an announcement I'm particularly pleased to make today, which has to do with the engagement with the community surrounding the airport. A central tenet of our $8 billion construction project to rebuild LaGuardia is that the community surrounding the airport should participate in the economic activity that both the construction project will bring and the ultimate economic activity at the new rebuilt integrated airport will develop. Today we are announcing in that connection a major new initiative, a major expansion adjacent to LaGuardia Airport. The Council for Airport Opportunity, Elm Corps Youth and Services Activities, and Neighborhood Housing Services of Queens will partner and open a new office near the airport to enhance assistance to local residents seeking employment with airport-related construction and airport-related businesses. The expansion of the CAO partnerships to include Elm Corps and Neighborhood Housing Services will bolster their existing job development and training programs to focus on Queens residents near to the airport as the airport continues to its growth and modernization project. I would like to recognize in particular CAO's Executive Director Andrew Campbell. I'd like to thank Saida Dunstan, Executive Director of Elm Corps, and Yoselin Janeo Estrello, Executive Director of Neighborhood Housing, for partnering with us in this effort, and I appreciate their attendance here today. Expanding the Council for Airport Opportunity activities further demonstrates the Port's commitment to the Queens community. I'd now like to turn the microphone over to Patricia Ornst. Oh, I'm sorry, to Joe Crowley. a little unfocused here. Joe Crowley.
I'm still here. Thank you, Rick. And Rick is so incredibly competent. He took all my talking points as well, so thank you very much. I'm incredibly pleased to be here and to be joined by elected officials from the local community as well, Jeff Aubrey and Francisco Moya, two dedicated public servants. I see the community board members that are here, the local folks that are here as well, because this project is a project of cooperation of the state and local government and the people who live here in the community. Because we take all the complaints. We hear them all the time about the airport itself. And at the same time, we're here to celebrate the creation of this flyover. And Governor, you know more than anyone as a Queens boy, that Queens has been, we kind of feel like we're a flyover borough. People come in, they pass through, they kind of use us and move on. And we have in our borough two of the greatest assets of our state and of our city in particular. That is LaGuardia Airport and Kennedy Airport. And the investment, Governor, you are making here in Queens today at LaGuardia Airport is nothing but exceptional. Exceptional. Because your investment in infrastructure is like nothing we have seen, certainly that I've seen in my lifetime. And to have, really for me, the hallmark of that right here at LaGuardia Airport. You know, the former vice president, a good friend of both the governors and mine, Joe Biden, said that this was the third world airport. And someone said to me, you know, Congressman, did the vice president apologize to you about that? I said, he didn't need to apologize to me. He needed to apologize to third world airports because this was a fourth world airport. The governor recognized that and the need to improve and to make this the hallmark that it needs to be, the entryway to New York City, and for many, the entryway to New York State. It says everything about us as a people of this great state. How we welcome people from all parts of the world, but maybe more importantly, this community airport from all parts of our country. Say, welcome to New York, the greatest city, the greatest state in the Union. That's what this investment is all about. I want to thank the men and women of labor. I want to thank you for working so hard to really move this project through. And I've been saying there's a lot of short-term pain but long-term gain. But we already see the fruits of it. That's why this flyover is so critical. It's not just about the airport. It's about making the entire roadway better for the entire community. Not just for airport use, but for all of us. So that's why it is so important that we're here today to celebrate just this flyover. That Queens is not just a flyover borough, that we matter, what happens here matters as well. I want to thank the management. I want to thank the supervisors, all those who helped move this project forward. I particularly, though, have to say that I am pleased that it's a man from Queens who is really at the forefront of seeing this project from its inception. And how can you do it in a city like New York and still keep this incredible airport open? That is the marvel of it all. But that was the vision of our governor, from soup to nuts. I know he was incredibly involved in just about every aspect of this airport because it means that much to him. So on behalf of our entire community, Jeff Aubrey, Francisco Moya, all the community boards, all the local elected officials and community folks, we want to say thank you, Governor. Thank you for your vision. Thank you for investing here in LaGuardia Airport. But most importantly, thank you for investing in Queens, this great city and this great state. Your legacy will be many, many years in the making still. But this is going to be a big, big part of it. So thank you, Governor. And it's my pleasure now to introduce to you, and I'm going to get this right because, Patty, I'm going to mess it up. Patty is the Managing Director of State and Local Affairs for Delta Airlines, Patricia Ornst.
Thank you. Thank you. Good morning. Today, we are taking another step forward to transform LaGuardia Airport into a 21st century transit hub. At Delta, New York is one of our most important hubs, and the transformation of LaGuardia is a testament to our commitment to New York. We are proud to work alongside the governor and our partners to build a new unified state-of-the-art airport. The new ramp we are opening today is a critical milestone in the governor's overall vision for an easily accessible world-class airport. This flyover will ensure seamless access from the eastbound Grand Central Parkway to Delta's Terminals C and D, saving passengers time and easing the congestion across the entire airport. It's incredible to see how rapidly the new airport is already taking shape. Delta Airlines broke ground on our terminal less than a year ago, and today we are already celebrating construction milestones and on track to complete a brand new arrivals and departures hall by 2021. So we are excited to have such momentum, and we look forward to continuing to work with our partners to build a whole new LaGuardia and turn Governor Cuomo's vision into a reality. We thank the governor, congressmen, our customers, our employees for their continued support. Now, please join me in welcoming my dear friend and mentor who has been instrumental in this effort, LaGuardia Gateway Partners board member Jane Garvey.
Wow, what a day, and thank you all. It is a pleasure to be here with the governor. Oh, thank you. I'll tell you, he's indispensable, this guy. The transformation of LaGuardia Airport, as Rick said, into a single unified gateway is really a historic project. It is a project that's important to the city, it's important to the region, but one thing I know as a former administrator of the FAA, it really is a linchpin in the aviation system. If you look at how the aviation system, all roads lead back to LaGuardia. When LaGuardia is functioning well, the network is functioning well. So the importance of this project is really significant. It really takes on a national importance as well. We are delighted and pleased to be part of this project, and we applaud the governor, as Patty said, as Joe Crowley said, as Rick said, for his leadership in this particular project and in encouraging all of us to stay the course. Today really is an important milestone for us. It really represents a significant milestone as this project moves forward. One of the things that I have learned in 30 years in transportation and in aviation is that no large public works project ever succeeds without a champion. They're complicated, they're often messy, and they're always challenging. And this project has been fortunate, I would say blessed, to have a champion in Governor Cuomo. He recognizes the importance of airports, They are not just gateways to a city, but they're the economic engines of regions. And in this case, that is very, very true. The governor has been a champion, as Joe said, from the very beginning of this project. We at LaGuardia Gateway Projects, we at LaGuardia Gateway Partners, and with our partners, Skanska and Walsh, are very proud to be part of this significant project. I would add, Governor, by the way, I see all these workers here, but they all said they are leaving here, picking up their shovels and going right back to work. They're not losing a bit, so it's great to see them all here. Wonderful to have them. We welcome the opportunity to be part of this. We look forward to the day when, as Patty said, the governor's vision becomes a reality. And this unified airport becomes a gateway not just for the city, but for the region as well. And with that, let me introduce the governor of the great state of New York, Governor Andrew Cuomo.
Thank you. Thank you very much. It's a great day. When you get to this point in the program, everything has been said, just not everyone has said it. And I don't want anyone to get sunstroke today. But first, to Rick Cotton, who has done a fantastic job as the Executive Director of the Port Authority. I can't thank him enough. Gary LaBarbera, Jeff Linford, and all the people from the port, Patty Ornst, Delta Airlines, Jane Garvey, LaGuardia Gateway Partners. I want to thank you very much for really working outside of the envelope. This has really been an extraordinarily difficult project, and Delta and LaGuardia Partners have been fantastic. To Joe Crowley, on this project, he was indispensable. A lot of this dealt with federal interface, and of course it's always my pleasure to deal with the federal government, but Joe was the interface, and Joe, Jeff Aubrey, Francisco Moya, everybody wants change, but change is hard. And when you talk about building a project like this, there's going to be inconvenience to the local community, there's going to be short-term pain, as Joe said, and most politicians just defer from the tough issues. Just put them off. It takes courage, strength, leadership to step up and say to the community, yes, we're going to go through this inconvenience. But it's the right thing to do, it's the smart thing to do, and that's leadership, and that is Joe Crowley. And I want to give him a round of applause and thank him for everything he's done. The message is simple today, and it's not just about New York, it's about this nation. The nation's infrastructure is crumbling beneath our feet. We know that. This nation has a record number of roads and bridges in poor condition. This nation is being left behind as other countries around the world are developing new airports, high-speed rail, etc. And we are stuck in the mud in this nation. Every president says it. President Bush 1, President Bush 2, President Clinton, President Trump, President Obama said it. We have to build. Vice President Biden says it every time he gets a chance. But nothing has happened. We're still right where we were. Why? Well, because it's hard. It's hard. It's conceptually right, conceptually easy. But the actual doing it is hard. Take this project. When Rick Cotton started this project, he had a full head of black hair. It is expensive, number one. You have to find the resources, and you have to find the resources at a time when government is very tight. It's hard to execute. You have to go to the surrounding community and say there's going to be a period of inconvenience. It's risky for government because it could be late, it could be delayed, it could be over budget, something could happen. So we have shied away from the hard and the expensive and the difficult and the risky. Yeah, short term, I understand that. Long term, you lose the race. And this nation has been losing the race. New York has taken a different course. And we said we are going to do what we know we need to do, even though it is hard, and even though it is short-term expensive, and even though it is inconvenient, and even though it is risky. Because that's what New York always did. Look at us. We are a built environment. One bridge after the next, one building after the next, one tunnel after the next. Each one a new first. You can't build a bridge that far. Oh no, watch us. You can't build a tunnel that long. Oh no, watch us. You can't build a building that high. Oh no, watch us. And we did it time and time and time again. And that's why New York is New York. This was not placed here by God. This is not in the Old Testament. We built this. It's that New York mojo, that New York arrogance, that New York drive, that New York ambition that built this. And we are recapturing that drive. Now, LaGuardia is the epitome of hard. And that's why for many years all you saw, as Rick said, using those technical professional terms, Band-Aids and a hodgepodge. Why? Because rather than do it right, just patch it. Just patch it. Just fix it. And you wound up with a spaghetti bowl of roads at LaGuardia, all different terminals. You needed an interpreter to read the signs. It was hellacious all my life. I am a Queens boy. Pick someone up at LaGuardia. No, make my sister go. It was a hellacious experience. I will pay for the cab. Please don't make me go. Only thing worse than going to LaGuardia? Going to JFK. I don't want to go. All my life. And everything was a Band-Aid approach. We said, we're going to do it right. We're going to start with a blank piece of paper. We're going to start with a blank slate. And yes, it's going to be hard, but we're going to build a state-of-the-art airport. First, as Rick said, in 25 years in this nation. How can that be? You fly all over the world and airports are the new front door, and this nation hasn't built one in 25 years. What a damning commentary. And this one is one of the hardest ones to build. It's a very small site. It's basically a postage stamp. You have to build it while you're operating it. It was already over max. We're now seeing record number of flights in the midst of the construction. So everybody said it can't be done. And we said it can be. And it is being done. This flyover is going to make a dramatic improvement already on the traffic. This road configuration, as soon as you got off the Grand Central Parkway, made no sense. It was all workarounds from day one. And this is going to make a difference. As we promised, you would see a difference, and the difference is going to start today. The rate of progress is fantastic. We can't work any faster. We can't work any harder. Congratulations to the men and women of labor who are doing the impossible once again. It is one piece in the puzzle. And it is extraordinary as that piece in the puzzle. But as the puzzle comes together, it's going to be even more impressive. Because this is a new LaGuardia airport. There's going to be a new JFK airport. There's a new Kosciuszko Bridge. Kosciuszko, actually. But I don't want to get into a pronunciation debate until we actually have to open the second lane of the Kosciuszko Bridge. New Penn Station. $6 billion renovation of the Long Island Railroad, new airports in Rochester, Syracuse, Albany, Plattsburgh. It all comes together. And there's then a synergy among all those pieces. This state is going to have the most advanced transportation system in the United States of America. While everybody else is standing still, we are building. We are building. This airport is not just going to be new and easier to navigate. It's going to have an air train finally, so you can get to Manhattan. Thanks to Jeff Aubrey for stepping up on that legislation, Jeff. It's going to have a high-speed ferry. It's going to have more parking than ever before. So it is going to be a totally new and better airport. And when you put it together with everything else we're doing, we are going to take, in some ways, advantage of the void in this country, and we're going to show them how to build and how to lead once again. Because that is New York's role. We are the most progressive. We are the leaders. We do it first. And we let the other states emulate what happens in New York. That is the New York way. We had a $100 billion plan over 5 years. Next year, I want to increase it to the largest development program in the United States of America, $150 billion, to build on what we're doing and to make New York better than it has ever, ever been. Thank you, and God bless you. Do not cut until I hit 3. 1, 2, 3.